Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Fergal.
And we're from Movie Smash.
Comic book movies are having a golden age right now with the MCU.
Movies based on comics aren't necessarily a new thing, but they're a big thing.
Join us every other Tuesday on Movie Smash.
We explore these movies and find some hidden gems.
Every other week, we revisit some of the best.
And some of the worst movies based on comics or graphic novels.
Was Green Lantern as bad as you remember?
Heck no!
Is Time Cop the most accurate time travel movie ever created?
Absolutely.
Was Mystery Men way ahead of its time?
Should they be revisited? Should they be forgotten?
Join us on Movie Smash and find out. Listen wherever you find your fine podcasts.
Entering the world of Crisis on Infinite Films, brought to you by All2ReelToo podcast.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All2ReelToo. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, hot dog, Encarta.
It's very melodic.
Thank you.
It was.
I'm putting my guitar.
Yes, it was very, very acoustic and melodic.
Very acoustic. Very 2003. Very 2000. Oh, speaking of 2003, no, that's a terrible segue.
Yes. 2003. Remember 2003? Back when the world was like worried about foreigners, and we had the whole war on terror. And
wait, that sounds familiar. Oh, we never left that time, did we? I was gonna say, I'm like, 2003 was great on a personal scale, but I'm like, wait a minute, we had the war, we had invasion of Iraq. And it's like, okay, I guess things really haven't changed that. It just got worse.
It's like George Lucas says about Star Wars. It doesn't really it rhymes, is what he says. It rhymes. It's like the sequels rhyme with the other movies. Like, so the things, the prequels, it's like, things don't really happen again necessarily, but they rhyme. So anyways, on a happier note, there was a movie that came out that year.
Yeah, there sure was.
It was called Bulletproof Monk. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was a action comedy film loosely based on the comic book.
It was a comic book movie? Okay, I didn't know that.
Based on the Image Comics, had a comic book called Bulletproof Monk, and this is loosely based on it.
Hey.
Yes.
All right.
According to the Internet Movie Database, the short synopsis here for the movie is based on the very underground comic book of the same name. A Tibetan monk becomes a mentor to a young street punk and tries teaching him how to protect the scroll of ultimate power from a secret Nazi organization bent on world domination. I mean, when you read it like that, it does sound like a comic book. So yeah.
It does, but also it's the most stale plot of all time. Oh, a Nazi looking for a mystical artifact that's going to give them power. I mean, like, come on, like Indiana Jones, a million other.
Yeah, and I was like, didn't we cover something like this in Captain America 1990 or whatever? Or
it was similar. It was like, oh my god!
But he wasn't a Nazi; he was Italian. So
no, that's right. But then the later movies, like the Marvel movies, it was a Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you have like Hellboy with the Nazis and that. It's just like, yeah.
It's too much. Like, stop the Nazi stuff. Like, we get it. Nazis are bad. Cool. Like, let's do something else. Like, make fresh,
Well, nowadays, a lot of people don't think that. So
You're true. That's true. You're right. A lot of people don't think Nazis are bad. Yeah.
Maybe we should have more movies telling people that Nazis are bad.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
So this film was directed by Paul Hunter. Speaking of generic names, he's prior to this he was like and continuing after it, he's a music video director, which you can kind of tell by the direction of the movie.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's like I'm looking at his credits here, and it's a lot of music videos for people like Britney Spears, Michael Jackson, Gwen Stefani, the Pussycat Dolls, Snoop Dogg, Mariah Carey, Jamie Foxx, featuring different things like that, and Kesha, Maroon 5. Last thing is he directed an episode of a new series that just came out called Government Cheese, which is an Apple TV Plus show starring David Oyelowo. And
Nice. All right.
It actually looks interesting. But so that's our director.
Mm-hmm.
The film was written by Ethan Reif, R-E-I-F-F. He's the writer of Kung Fu Panda 3, Kung Fu Panda Secrets of the Scroll, basically Kung Fu Panda, as well as the story of the Russell Crowe Robin Hood movie. Yeah, he wrote Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. Josh Kirby, Time Warrior. I don't know what that is, but he wrote a bunch of those.
Reminds me of that episode of Community where Dean's writing a thing called Time Desk. The novel.
He wrote it along with Cyrus Voris, who basically worked on all those things with him. They're like a writing duo. So yeah. Also, Cyrus wrote. He was the creator of the TV show Sleeper Cell.
HBO, I like that show, actually.
Showtime, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Showtime. It was kind of cheesy, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Very early 2000s style.
He also wrote the screenplay for the Dolph Lundgren movie Men of War.
We reviewed a Dolph Lundgren movie a long time ago.
Yeah, we covered Kindergarten Cop 2.
Yep.
There's a movie that he was in called I want to say Red Scorpion or something like that. That was financed by one of the key members behind the Iran-Contra affair.
Oh my God.
And some neo-Nazis and other things. So yeah,
that's embracing.
Or South African neo-Nazis and things like that too involved.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So maybe we'll cover that in the future. We'll see. So the movie stars Chow Yun-fat as the monk with no name, Seann William Scott as Carr, Jaime King as Jade, Karel Roden as Strucker, Victoria Smurfit. I almost thought that said Smurfat. Her last name is Smurfit.
I was gonna say, I'm like, wait a minute.
She plays Nina. We've got Marcus John Pyre as Mr. Funktastic.
Yeah. I almost forgot about that character.
Yeah. Mako is Mr. Kojima. We've got Roger Yan as the Master Monk, and then a bunch of other people. So, Yeah. So, Sesame, may I ask you, what was your initial reactions to this film?
I think it's one of the greatest films of all time. No, it was okay. I remember watching it when it came out around 2003.
Yeah.
My he sometimes rent movies and bring them over to my grandma's house to watch movies on Sunday night after we had dinner. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the movies. Like, we were making fun of the movie the entire time we were watching it. Like it's so far-fetched and dumb, but at the same time, it's also pretty. It's like funny to watch because like Shawn Michaels, he's like that sarcastic
Seann William Scott.
Sorry, Seann William Scott. You know, the Seann William Scott of it all. You know, that smirk and that kind of like. This is like during his heyday as an actor.
Oh, yeah.
He was like post American Pie, where he could take on roles that weren't fucking Stifler, you know, or whatever.
Yeah. Like the Rundown and other things that he was in. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was okay. I'd probably watch it again with like just kind of having the background a little bit, like not really into all of it, but it wasn't as bad as I remember it being though. So maybe my tastes have just gotten worse over time. I'm not sure, but
yeah, I remember. I worked at a Blockbuster Video when this came out on DVD or VHS at the time or whatever. And I remember renting it and bringing it home and watching it with my sister and her boyfriend and some other people that were living in my house, because at this point in my life, somehow I think there was like 1 million people living in my house randomly. And
yeah, absolutely.
We all watched it and laughed at it and made fun of it. But that was the time where my sister was dating a guy and then invited like his whole family to live with us, I think, if I'm remembering the timeline correctly. But it was like
Insane.
Like her boyfriend, his brother, his mother, sister,
Oh my God.
and his sister's boyfriend, who happened to be one of my best friends from high school, all lived with us.
So fucking weird.
Yeah. Oh, good times.
Wow. Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Where I would come home and just lock myself in my room.
Yeah, such great times. Just like, the times I used to just lock myself in my room,
And lock myself,
being depressed.
lock myself in my room and watch Almost Famous over and over again just because I was depressed. But yeah, it was great. Good times.
Good movie. I love that movie. It's a great movie. That's what I watch when I'm depressed too, because it makes me more depressed. So why not watch something that makes you more depressed than you already are? Because that was a movie I watched in high school a lot, and one of my tutors always said that I looked like the main kid from Almost Famous, and we both had like the same dreams of like being like in a rock culture or whatever. So I'm like, I could have been him. I could have been William.
Good times.
Great times. Great times. Yeah.
So, what goes down in this Chow Yun-fat, Seann William Scott, Jaime King trifecta of a movie?
Masterpiece. So basically, it's got your stereotypical beginning. There's some monks in the Tibetan Buddhist temple. This one dude, he's like the master monk. It's time for him to impart this sort of scroll.
I just want to clarify by monk we mean like the religious type of monk, not like a bunch of Tony Shalhoubs.
No, there's no Tony Shalhoub clones in this movie. It actually would have been a better movie if there were, but there's not, unfortunately. And so basic shit happens. The monk imparts the knowledge of this ancient scroll that if you recite the entire scroll all at once, you have like the complete control of the world if you want to, which doesn't make any. Why would you even need a why would the ancient Buddhist scholars even make up such a scroll in the first place? If whatever, fine. I'm not going to dissect that too much, but
they needed a MacGuffin, That's it.
Yeah, they need a MacGuffin, and so the dude, they do like the ceremony, and then like once it's done, like the guy's all old and shit because he was like doing this for 60 years, and so now he actually looks like the old person that he is, or some like shit like that. And then and right afterwards, I love, this is my favorite part, and I knew this was gonna happen. Like at the beginning, when I first saw it back in 2003, I'm like, I know exactly what's gonna happen because they show the Nazi guy showing up, and he's like kind of looking up for a way in, and the monk is like, "Oh, now it's it's finally I finally get to take a vacation." He didn't get shot. Like, I knew it was going to happen because, like, I even said, like, "Oh, he's about to get shot," and like, soon as I said that, he gets shot.
It's a permanent vacation. So yeah,
it's a vacation, I guess. And then of course, his dying words are like, "Project the scroll," then he dies or whatever. And so the dude, Nazi guy, who's got a stupid haircut, mind you, I hate that fucking haircut. God, I hate that. But like, anyway, he's like, I don't even think you'd even be allowed to have that haircut if you're a Nazi general or whatever.
Basically, a lot of the Nazis had that kind of haircut because it was similar to what Hitler had. He had that whole like I don't know haircut where it was like
that, like whatever you call it,
like boy band 2000s haircut almost.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's what it looked like. And so he shoots the monk, the monk with no name, because you're supposed to leave your name behind, so that you're dedicated to like your new life, that you don't like no name. It's a very common thing with those kind of.
I tried that for religion. I tried that for like a week, but I couldn't get it to stick.
Couldn't get it to stick because you got to go anywhere. They got to say what your name is. Like, well, I got no name. Like,
I mean, I'm just wondering how he orders something at Starbucks.
Just say no name or unknown. I don't know. I wonder if you could change your name to unknown or no name. Like,
well, I'm sure there's people out there with that. I mean, people have weird names. I mean, Jason Lee named his kid Pilot Inspector. So, I mean, it's like...
Oh my God, so stupid. Why would you do that, kid? Oh my fucking, whatever. That's terrible. Speaking of Almost Famous, he wasn't Almost Famous. As the singer of Stillwater, fictitious band, sort of based off a real band, kind of. There actually was a band called. Were they based off the real Stillwater? Because there was a band called Stillwater.
No, they were based off the Allman Brothers.
The Allman, that's right, the Allman Brothers.
Yeah,
because that's also based off of the whole movie. Because Cameron Crowe.
Yeah,
that's right. He took the Allman Brothers for a while. Because he looks so young, and they also Fast Times at Ridgemont High is also based on one of his stories. They tend to be a high school student to just kind of like see what's going on in the high school or whatever, the gossip and all that shit.
Yeah,
and but yeah, I remember this is kind of a tangent, I know, but like I remember reading this article. It was about Cameron Crowe during the Almost Famous thing, and how one of the Allman brothers taught him the quote most efficient and correct way of getting drunk. And he was like, it was like almost like a science to him. He's like, okay, like you don't actually want to get drunk. Like that's not the point. You want to have a buzz that goes on long enough. And so he's like, you keep it going. So he said, like, first, like he's like, the first thing you do when you go to a party is you drink 2 cans of beer at once. You start off like that, and then every hour you drink another can of beer. It's like you like time this shit out like a stopwatch or something. And then it's like,
wow.
It's like you do that for about 2 or 3 hours because you don't want to get too drunk. You just want to ride out the initial buzz, you know? I don't know why. I just thought that was hilarious when I read that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's off topic. But so the dude, Nazi guy shoots him. He's like, you are not bulletproof. Oh, you get it? 'Cause it's called Bulletproof Monk. Aha, you know, it's funny, right? You know, and then he thinks he killed them, but then he can't find the monk.
That's when you know the character hadn't read the screenplay.
Yeah, he's just like, you're not bulletproof. Oh, wait. Oh, it's literally called Bulletproof Monk. Yeah. And so he can't find his body, of course. So he's always suspected that he never really killed the guy. And so he's been tracking them down, trying to, for the past 60 years. By the way, past 60 years. So, by the way, this is one of those movies, you know, it seems like they've gotten a little bit better with it over time, but it's one of those movies where there's like this ancient prophecy from like this like indigenous people across the world. Of course, though, it's talking about a white guy or a white, you know, it's like it's always a white person that, you know, it's like, you know, somehow, you know, these ancient scriptures from Tibet or China or India, they're really talking about a white guy from New Jersey, you know, or something like that. It's just like,
or it's like was it like the Mayan people or something thought that like Cortez was like the fulfillment of a prophecy that they had.
Really? Oh God.
He was like some kind of sun god or something. I don't know what it was, but yeah.
So they thought that there was someone pretending that they thought like, okay, wow, that's crazy. Or, you know, The Last Samurai, that's another movie where Tom Cruise is like the hero of that movie, some white dude, you know.
The Mohicans.
See, these movies are good movies. I'm not saying they're not good movies, but it is kind of like
Dances.
It's like Dances like always putting a white person front and center, like they're the main character. They're like,
even
so it's like
Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar's a big one. Yeah, you're right, Avatar. It's so like these movies are great. But they do have that sort of fundamental flaw where it's always like, and I don't even think it's like necessarily intentional or there's like any malice behind it, but like it's like a subconscious, I think, where it's like the idea is like if we put a white guy or a white woman as like the main character, that then like sort of like civilizes like the savage culture that he's a part of. So it's like it's like he simultaneously adopts the savage culture, quote unquote. I'm not saying, but like quote unquote savage culture. But then in the process, he legitimizes said savage culture. You get what I'm trying to say? I'm not sure if I'm saying it well or not, but like it's kind of like that. But this movie, of course,
it's sort of a play on the whole like white savior trope, like where you have like like Dangerous Minds or something like that, where you have a white person come in and save the
black kid.
The black minority community or something, or the whatever it is. But yeah, it's a worn out trope that needs to stop in a lot of ways. So yeah,
I think it's gotten a little bit better because I haven't seen too many movies that have gone.
It's
super hardcore in that.
I think it's pretty much dead, hopefully, but who knows? So yeah,
who knows? They might start making more movies like that after Trump takes over the media, and like all movies have to be patriotic about where the white guy's always the hero and the black people are the villain or something like that, or anyone who's like not white. And so any variation of not white is the villain or whatever. Sorry, Slavic people, you're not off the hook here. Okay, yeah. As far as they're concerned, you're black. So it's like,
Yes.
I was just telling my parents earlier about how Polish people are still really prejudiced, especially in England. In England, Polish are like the quote Mexicans of Europe. Like they're like, these Polish people taking all of our jobs. You know, like it's like they hate them. Like they're like, these goddamn Polish immigrants. Anyway, sorry. Please keep me on track because I like.
So what happens next? Got basically okay. So in the movie here, we've got we cut to modern day quote unquote New York via obvious Toronto. Anyway, so it might just be because I spent a week in Toronto once. I know exactly where everything was shot in this movie. So I'm just like,
that's great. Yeah.
I'm just like, that isn't, and I spent like a couple weeks in New York City before. So you can tell this is not New York City.
Yeah, it's not. It's too clean.
And my thing is why even try to pretend it is? Just say that it's in Toronto. You know,
what's the problem? Like, Toronto's not big enough city for you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Toronto was like a huge cosmopolitan city.
It's basically it's the cleaner New York of Canada. So yeah,
anything that you could find in New York, you could find in Toronto, but it's cleaner.
Yes,
and you have universal health care.
And cost of living is really high there, though. But anyway, so in Toronto, it's
true. I mean, big city is.
At least it was like 15 years ago when I went there. So
I'm pretty sure, but
so we're in modern day. There's people trying to chase both. We've got like this car guy who is Seann William Scott's character, who's going around and pickpocketing people, including a cop who, puts cuffs on him. But Carr, of course, has a key to the handcuffs. You know what? I don't understand. Do all cops' handcuffs use the same key?
I don't know.
I think they do. I think they do. So it's like,
yeah, maybe they do. I have no idea.
Yeah,
and that was a dumb scene, but yeah.
But anyways, he ends up handcuffing the cop to a pole in the New York subway.
Yeah, it's the Toronto subway.
Yes. Oh boy, I've been on both, and that was definitely Toronto. Anyway, so at the same time, we're reintroduced to our monk guy who's hiding behind a USA Today at a newsstand because that's the best way to hide from people. I always
back in 2000
carry a USA Today in my pocket just to hide behind it.
Why not? I mean,
yeah. And so he's being chased by some other people, like in these black suits. We don't know who they are. Are they the FBI? Are they, the CIA? What are they? Are they good guys?
We don't
guys. Who are they? So then, like, there's this instance where this little girl gets stuck on the train tracks of the subway, and both Carr and the monk decide to save her, and they go and save her, because they don't want a little girl to get run over by a train. Why everybody else stands around and watch? I'm sorry, but
they're just watching. I'm like, okay, you guys can handle it.
Yeah, just like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, you have to like a steel bar, but you two guys got it covered, right? Don't need any extra people to help lift the weight.
No, but so they get the girl out of there, and then Carr basically hugs the Bulletproof Monk, and he steals his scroll.
Yeah, what an asshole.
Yeah. Then there's like this local gang. He has a violent run-in with this local gang, and then which features Mr. Funktastic.
Yep, that's his name.
Yes.
He chose it. Think about that for a short moment. He chose for himself.
Yeah. I mean, we're supposed to respect people, and I always do when they change their name, but I'm pretty sure that's not the name he was born with. Yeah, so there's a interesting thing with the trivia. Mr. Funktastic has a tattoo on his chest that actually reads, there's no N in it. If you look at it, it says Mista, M-I-S-T-A, Fucktastic. F-U-K.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, and anyways, there's this young woman with them that, they're setting up obviously to be the love interest to Carr, played by Jaime King, named Jade, who she basically convinces Mr. Fuckertastic to let him Mr. Fuck to let Hargo, and Card, quote unquote, beats them in the fight or whatever. So then we cut to the next day, and Jade is attending a exhibit at a human rights museum, and the person in charge of it, we later find out, is Nina, the granddaughter of Strucker, the Nazi from the beginning of the movie.
Yep, Strucker.
Yeah,
what a name! But
the exhibit is basically just showing people being harmed. It's not like
the whole. It's just like, because she makes this point, because she's like, why don't you like show stuff of like, people being, good to each other or whatever. And she's like, oh, well, yeah, but like people need to learn or whatever. And then she shows them this like picture where like this guy's about to shoot this woman. And she's like, think hard about this. Would you rather be the person about to be shot or the one doing the shooting? I'm like, Jesus Christ, lady, like chill out a little bit. Like,
I'm like, you're the human rights person? Like, what the fuck?
Like, why would you headski? Like, that's a creepy thing to ask someone, like, rhetorically ask someone. This like, I think most people would be like, yeah, I'd rather be the one being the one shooting someone, but at the same time, not really.
It's like, there is no right answer to that question.
Literally, no. There's no right. Because, like, yeah, nobody wants to get shot and be killed, but I don't think most people would want to be a murderer either, know? So it's like, unless you just get some, like, psychopath, just kind of, well, I should say psycho.
Yeah.
Some person. Because I know that, like,
any good person that believes in human rights is not going to answer that question with the, I want to be the guy shooting people.
Exactly, but that should have given us an instance already. Like, she's not what she seems to be, kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of makes it, like, that's not something like a really good person would just like randomly ask. This really young woman is probably like only like in her like early 20s.
That's actually.
Like that.
I carry around a picture like that, and whenever I meet someone, the first thing I ask them is, "Would you rather be
the person?" Yeah, there you go. Just do that to everyone you meet. Would you rather be the person about to be shot? Or
that might explain why I'm single. But anyway, so
you take that every day. You know what I do? I take the picture of the Buddhist monk emulating himself during the Vietnam War. I just carry that around with me everywhere.
Just carry human atrocities in your wallet.
Like my wallet. Just like sometimes I just want to take a look, to relax my mind a little bit. Like, if you really want to get super relaxed and crazy, do the one in Vietnam where the little girl's running away from fucking napalm guys running after her. Great.
I've got the picture of the person that's about to be run over by a tank in Tiananmen Square in my phone.
There you go. It's like, hey, no, according to the tankies, that didn't happen. China never did Tiananmen Square. It's all CIA propaganda. No, I'm just kidding.
So
there wasn't a square. Okay, go ahead. So,
anyways, what we got going on next is so we find out like the monk and Carr, become the new odd couple and move in together, and then we have a whole series of sitcoms that I'm joking. No, I think
it was very sitcom-y. Like their relationship a little bit,
Yeah, so the monk is like basically just hanging out in Carr's like apartment that is like an illegal apartment above a movie theater.
It's not even like standard code.
Run by a Japanese guy who shows Chinese films that they had to point out earlier.
They point out because it's like, hey man, like you think you're so like as authentic or cool or whatever. Like it's like, yeah, because there's not very many Japanese martial art. That can't be right. There's gotta be a lot of Japanese martial arts films.
Maybe. But most of them are Chinese.
But even so,
yeah.
It is kind of racist that like that's the only movies he shows is Chinese martial movies. Like there's nothing else. Like
there are theater. At least there were back when people actually went to movie theaters that were like specific. Like movie just show silent films, or a movie theater would just show cartoons or whatever. They'd had different things like that. So
okay,
but
know that.
This character is played by Mako, who is one of the he's one of the most famous Japanese American actors ever. So it's like,
wow.
He lived until he was 72. He died in 2006, but his television and movie career was like legendary. So it's like he's stuck in this movie. Like the last, unfortunately,
because
he died of esophageal cancer, but just prior to his death, he had finished voice work for the TMNT animated movie as Splinter. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. The one thing I have to balk at a little bit. By the way, before when I said sitcom, I was not referring to like a communist sitcom. I was saying like it's that we should do that. We should make a thing called sitcom. It's like communist things.
It's a sitcom. It's just a communist sitting on a couch.
That's it, and just like boring you talking about Marxist theory or some shit. Like, okay, we get it. Can we go get a hot dog? Speaking of hot dogs, that comes in later, by the way. But
to make it funny, though, he's talking about Marxist theory, and then he decides to pull out a picture of Marx, and you're thinking it's going to be Karl Marx, but it's actually Groucho.
Yeah, it's Groucho Marx. So, speaking of Karl Marx, someone had found a LinkedIn profile, and I think it was legit. I don't think it was like a satire joke. The guy was named Karl Marx with a C, but A-S, and he was like an investment dude or some shit. It's like, I'm like, oh my god, we found like his antithesis. Like, like centuries later, his evil clone has come to show up to undo everything, whatever. But anyway, so there's a scene. Go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
It's okay because I kind of forgot what I was going to say.
Well, anyway, so back to the movie. They have their little thing in the theater, but but that was like before the human rights thing. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of out of order here, but anyway, Nina Jade, who had just talked to Nina, ends up interrupting a meeting between the monk and Carr in the street. And right before that, though, we had found out that he had stolen her necklace as a way to see her again, so he could like return it and be her hero.
That's like a Dennis, a Dennis Reynolds type of like the.
It's a Jesse Waters move.
It's a Jesse, exactly, because Jesse Waters more like Joe, but from Arrested Development, like almost the exact same thing, like flattening girls' tires and offering to give them a.
That's what he did. His current wife, how he first got to take her home sometimes. He slashed her tire. Yeah,
that's he's like, and he's a Fox News host. Great, our great righteous, pontificators,
and he talks about this story on the air like it's like this cute story. But then again, if you ever think about like sometimes like cute stories that your grandparents would tell about how they met or something, or your aunts and uncles or whatever, and be like, well, I asked her out every day for a year, and she didn't, and she kept saying no, and eventually she just said yes. But, you're just working her down, man.
You're wearing her down, and plus, too, they even mention that in the Big Bang Theory between Penny and what's the other guy's name? I forgot his name, but the main guy,
Leonard. Yeah,
Leonard. Where she's like, he slowly wore me down or something like that, and I was like, haha, it's so cute. And it's like, is it though? Because like, if he was constantly bugging someone, like
you're stalking someone until they want to marry you. It's like,
not only that, it's just kind of like embarrassing almost too, because like you're admitting that your only somewhat decent quality is persistence. Like that's it. Like there's no charm. There's no nothing. Just that you won't quit. That's the only good thing about you. But then you use it towards like bad ends. You know what I mean? Like it's not like for a business or anything else. I'm using this exclusive to bother this woman.
He asked me out every day for a year, but you didn't realize that he was actually asking like 24 other women at the same time.
Well, that's right, but then the later movies, like the Marvel movies,
just waiting for one of them to circle around and say yes. They're like, got it, or whatever. So I know what you mean, where it's like that.
It's too much.
The thing is, like, too, like, there's people, who live in like different phases of life where, like the two people actually might be right for each other, but they're at the wrong time. You know what I mean? And so, but I mean, like, sometimes that shit does work out, but not at the time that you wanted to. It's almost like, I'll get to this later because I don't want to spoil it. It's almost like, life doesn't always go according to plan, so, you can always, I'm not going to say it right now, but think about anyway.
So anyway,
go ahead.
They meet up in the street. She wants her necklace back, but he says, "Oh, I'll keep an eye out for it." Blah blah blah. So then they end up being interrupted then with like some mercenaries of Nina's, who we find out are basically those people in those black suits that were chasing the monk at the beginning of the movie. The monk, so then the monk arrives at a laundromat that secretly houses a group of monks who provide him shelter.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Like, I'm sorry. Like that scene just kind of bothers me a little bit because it's like I don't know. It kind of bothered me. Like, oh, I just happen to have like the secret lair, or something like that.
Like, why did you sleep on Carr's bed then? Anyways, so
why are you sleeping at his place when you got your own like makeshift monastery, going on where everybody knows you and your friend. Instead, you're Carr's guy
there. Everybody knows your name and stuff. But anyway, so
it's not like Cheers because he's supposed to be quiet, but like
everybody knows his name because he doesn't have a name. So
that's right. Everybody knows not your name. They know you, but not your name.
Cheers when Norm would walk into the bar and everybody yell at Norm. When this guy walks into a room, everybody is just silent.
Shop talk where nobody knows your name. So stupid. That's what I had to take a break for to look that up. Shop talk where nobody knows your name. Do.
So
they don't serve liquor there because they probably don't drink, and at the end of it they have like a gong, like where nobody knows your name. Sorry, that was completely random. Anyway, there is one thing I was going to mention. I forgot. Now I remember. So apparently Carr has a photographic memory that they only mentioned one time in the movie, because apparently he taught himself Kung Fu by just watching the Kung Fu movies and copying their moves, which of course that's how you learn any martial art, is from watching movies. I mean, what?
It works with anything. I used to watch ER and now I'm a doctor.
I mean, so, some people have actually faked their way into doing that shit for a while, then they finally caught, like, no practice and shit. Speaking of which, like, you mentioned, a guy in government is a fake doctor. So, there you go.
It happens. So, anyways, the monk decides to take on Carr and train him. He trains him in an abandoned warehouse because those are everywhere. And
yeah, of course.
In movies. So eventually Nina's mercenaries come down on them in force, and there's a big chase, and Carr accidentally drops the scroll from the rooftop where it is swiped by Nina.
Of course.
However, she later discovers that the scroll is fake. It's like recipe for some noodles, for a soup noodles.
Yeah, he kind of put that in there as like a prank or whatever. Like, here you go, bitch, or whatever.
So then, one of the monks that was in there that helped them out basically betrays the monk and Carr, and basically tells them where they're located.
Yeah, so this was supposed to be like a spot where the guy was like, he was like jealous of Carr, and like he wanted to be the guy, but like there was like 2 minutes of that in the whole movie. It's like that would have been a cool sarcastic, like
No, but you couldn't give Asian people too many speaking lines in a movie called Bulletproof Monk.
No, because you only got one Asian guy with the main character. You can't have too many. It's like that would have been a cool line. Like, he's not one of us. We're your brothers. We've been practicing the ways for all of our lives. It's not fair to give this blessing to like this random white dude. That would have been a cool, kind of stuff. But they're like, no, we're not even gonna do that. We're gonna give him like one instance of that, and then
I mean, it's very like, why is Carr white?
Maybe my taste has just gotten worse.
Carr is white because he had to be, because it was 2003, and he doesn't even spell it right.
He could be the same exact character, but maybe somehow tied back to the Tibetan monks or whatever, because he was like, some Asian.
Yeah, he could have been like a guy. Yeah. Sorry, you're right. He could have been like an Asian dude or a Tibetan guy who just like happens to live in New York, and he's kind of like, he practiced the ways of his ancestors. He's kind of his own person. He's a pick. That would have been even better too, because he's like a thief, and so like that kind of shows like how far apart he is from like.
I guess maybe in some ways that would be too much like Shang-Chi, but still, it's like.
That's right, but of course this is like 20 years before that, but like, or almost 20 because that came out in 2021. Yeah, whatever happened to that? We're like, Shang-Chi will return. Okay, it's been 4 fucking years, dude. It's like, what the hell? Like,
and that
anyway.
was literally with some instances of things I didn't like, but it was overall one of the better Marvel movies in my opinion. But because it was different.
Wasn't just stupid saying
as anyways, the monk's allies are all kidnapped and taken to Strucker's secret facility. So that happens to be beneath the Human's Right Museum. So
also has its own makeshift lab. So we got abandoned warehouses. We've got illegal, I'm sure illegal lodging places with car, of course, with him up above the movie theater, and this guy with his bottom basement of whatever.
Yeah, and they got these like things that they like strap all of the monks into that are it's like these like human torture things or something, and I don't know what the hell was going on. It's like, how do you have so many of those too?
I was waiting for he was like, yeah, exactly. Why would you build so many? You're only supposed to get the one guy. But like, and as he already prepared. I mean, I guess he is German and a Nazi, so they're not anything if not prepared. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
so,
you just have all these things just in case you run into a group of a minority that you don't like.
He's been doing this for 60 years, Mike. He's got to think of everything at this point, So
maybe they're not the first minorities that they captured there. Maybe he just went to a synagogue and just put a bunch of people in those too or something, So and you never know.
But like what I don't like about these type of movies is it's like the same thing with like Thanos, where it's like, I need all the 5 rings of power so I can do what I want, and what I want is to erase half of the universe. And then, but it's like, okay, but like the universe is going to grow again, so you got to keep erasing the universe over and over again. But then it's like you could have just easily have like made more resources with that, or like half the universe.
It's also why racism is a construct that was created by people just to create an enemy, because the idea was like even if everybody on Earth was white, they would still create an enemy within that group of people.
But that's why European racism is so much more interesting than American racism. Because like Europeans have to be like more like precision and like clever with their racism, because it's not just like, a black guy or whatever. Like no, they're like, you fucking Italian, Swiss people are way better than Italians, bro, or whatever. And it's like you're both white, like it's like, but like or like Euro. Like I was talking again with my parents about Polish people, Slavic people are still kind of considered. They even use the word Eurotrash for my people. They call us Eurotrash. Slavic people, mainly it's usually Slavic people. So you got like the the Poland, obviously Czechoslovakia, the names there. Western parts of Russia, etc. Those are like the main Slavic regions. And like, they call us Eurotrash. They like because we're not like the good Europe.
You got people that are anti-Irish. You got people that are anti-Scottish. Different things. It's just totally messed up.
Bullshit.
Nazi guy.
I was trying to say, and then of course I got off the point because I've been doing that lately. Why couldn't this Strucker guy, whatever his name is? I know it's still pretty racist either way, because like his whole thing is that he wants to do genocide. He wants to do genocide of why not just turn everyone white? Again, I know that's still super racist, but at least you're not killing anyone. Like
Well, I mean, it's the whole like the Borg way of looking at things. You just assimilate everybody,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's because bloodshed, but then maybe he just likes the bloodshed. Maybe he just likes killing people. So that that kind of shows because Thanos a little bit.
Or he will know that they're not really white and that they used to be Asian or whatever. So it's just like
But it doesn't matter because you got magic now, and so you magic people into whiteness. That's a good song line. You magic people into whiteness.
What if you could change your name?
Good song title or a band name. Magic into whiteness.
Let's not go there.
No, it's not. I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying that somebody will take that and
take that. Especially, that's a good point. They'll take the wrong lesson from that. Also, there's several wrong lessons in this movie. We've already mentioned some. There's one that's a bit more concerning to me because it could actually get someone killed if they took it too literally. No name monk guy here literally tells Carr that he can walk on air if he believes hard enough. That's a terrible message to say. I mean, especially if some kids watch this movie and they're like 12 years old, and he's like, just believe. If you believe hard enough, you can walk on air. No, they fell off the cliff. They jumped off the building. Sorry.
It's prosperity gospel or something.
One of his stories.
You just think something like this or something, where you just think something hard enough and then it becomes true. That doesn't work.
This is a tangent, I know, but I remember
cancer's going to go away and it'll go away. No,
Cayman Crow during the almost famous thing.
Bad message to teach young children. By the way, this movie was not made for young children, but you might have a 10-year-old watch. This movie wasn't like that bad. Like there's nothing in here that it's people watch. Like
PG-13. So you don't actually want to get drunk. Like that's not the point. Anyways, so back to the plot here. We've got
it's always like you keep it going.
So they were kidnapped, the monk's allies, and then we got so Carr and the monk need to find a place to hide out and everything. Because there was a scene where I almost forgot about it, where Mako's character was killed at the movie theater.
That's right. I forgot about it.
No reason at all. So
she was a bitch.
Oh, no, I just thought that was
racist bitch. So we've got they need to find a place to hang out, so they break into Jade's home,
like you do,
and stop calling her and being like, "Hey, can we hang out here?"
Thinks he killed them, but then
they didn't even know it was her house, did they?
No,
that's right, because they just want to go there because the guards were surrounding the place, right? Yeah,
because later Carr says, I thought we should have called her first.
He's always suspected.
I was kind of confused for a second, because I wasn't sure if they knew that's where they were going, or if it just wasn't. It seemed like they didn't explain too well. Because he's like,
it seems like they got a little bit better too well. But
anyways, she lives in this like really nice mansion. Turns out her dad is like some Russian oligarch who's like in jail or something. So
like 20-year, which even then 20 years is like not that big of a sentence, but when you got power, you get a little bit slap on the wrist. Like he must have done really bad shit to get 20 years, though. You know what I mean?
So while they're there, the monk realizes somehow that the second part of his prophecy has been fulfilled by Jade.
Oh God! Remember the first one? We forgot about that. The cranes. Remember that during the Funktastic fight?
Yeah.
Because he's watching the fight go on. He's not even helping Carr at this moment, by the way. He's just letting them get his ass kicked.
Like you do.
The Last Samurai.
Again, the White Savior, this ancient Buddhist prophecy that's been passed down from master to their top student, their most prized student, for probably Buddhism. Let's see, Buddhism is Buddhism, I think, is older than Judaism as a religion. So at least 5,000, this prophecy has been passed down from master to student, and it all culminates in a white dude from New York / Toronto who's a pickpocketer and has a stupid smirk on his face all the time, and taught himself kung fu from watching movies at his landlord / movie theater owner movie theater.
Yeah,
that's and so, but one of them was cranes. But the prophecy said cranes, and so you're thinking, you mean like the bird? That's what? No, it meant cranes, like the machine. That's what it meant. Okay, you fucking idiots. Anyway, really pissed me off. The whole movie. I hate movies. I mean, I like this movie, but I just hate this idea that this ancient, Asian or African or what have you, is prophesying like a white guy from America. Shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
I don't like it. I hate that trope so much.
So anyway, Nina breaks into and her men break into Jade's through Jade's windows, and there's a surprise attack, knocking the monk out with a tranquilizer dart.
Of course.
So they take the monk and put him in one of those fancy IKEA torture machines, and that's the IKEA. That's great, because wasn't IKEA a Nazi dude? No, I don't think they're related. But I just say they're probably like, you know, bought in bulk and you just put them together like an IKEA furniture thing or something. But anyways, so
look pretty bad. They look pretty.
Yeah. So Nina like has the monk and discovers that the text of the scroll is actually tattooed on the monk's body. And so, Jade then figures out where the monk was taken and chooses to help rescue him.
People are still really prejudiced,
And
England,
so the monk awakens
like
to Nina sensually undressing him and scanning his.
I was gonna say that. People act like she was gonna give the dude a blowjob. I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? All of a sudden,
seriously thought for a second she was going to.
He's all like, shit, don't do this, god damn it, like, you know, like, I'm a monk, stop this, you know. Plus, too, it's weird because she's a white Nazi racist, though. Wouldn't her grandfather like her for that? Like, because she's like race mixing or whatever? Like, come on, dude, you gotta be consistent here with your racism.
I mean, she just wanted to see how Chow Yun-fat his dick was. Anyway, so
I'm sure it was like a giant hog, like. Sorry. Sorry, that was kind of graphic.
So, anyways, Jade figures out that it's got to be underneath the museum because that's logic. And so Strucker is like reading the stuff off of the scroll off. She had scanned the tattoos into a computer, and so Strucker is like reading it off. And Jade and Carr, you know, come into the facility through an underground water main.
In New York, you can find Toronto.
Jade is intercepted by the tunnels in the tunnels by Nina. This time she's dressed in this military style jumpsuit concealing a sigh. So she pulls that out. What the fuck?
How does she change? Like what? Like where does she have time that she just has like a uniform on hand? Like okay, here, this is my fighting clothes. Hold on a sec, grandfather. You know, like, sorry, I had to give this monk a blowjob. It took me a while. I was like, sorry.
She's like, oh, I can change my clothes because Nina's giving the monk a blowjob. So.
So terrible. Sorry.
I got some time here.
Terrible. So, that's a good song title. Nina's giving a blowjob to the monk. No, sorry. Damn it. No, sorry.
No, that's like that's wrong in other ways.
Sorry. I'm such a weird mood lately.
So Jade like, you know, breaks Nina's leg and her shin or whatever, and so she then snaps her neck.
What the fuck was that about? Yeah, it's like, okay.
I mean, she was a Nazi, so anyway,
I'm not bad. I'm just saying, like, it's such a weird way of fighting. Like, I don't know. And what's she doing learning karate and martial arts and shit? What the? Those are Asian arts. What are you doing? Like, you can't have it both ways, Nina. I'm pretty sure Germans had their own martial arts. I mean, I'm pretty sure every culture had.
But you know, but she knew some martial arts. But Jade was the one that killed her, so it was cool. So
she's the one that really knows.
The other white girl knows martial arts that killed her.
The white girl, the two white women, fighting martial arts style. Carr is off in the sewage or some shit. I don't know. And then
basically, while Strucker's like reading out the shit, he starts to get younger, reading out the stuff from the scroll. Basically, he's reading it all out, but he realizes that one line is missing, like the last verse of it. So the monk basically says, I've got it memorized or whatever. So he tries to scan his brain because I guess you can do that.
He needs people to help lift the
those IKEA machines are also brain scanners, don't you know? Yeah. They have pre-Google Translate technology where you can scan the words that goes on a computer. So it's like
you can read your brain like the computer in what was it
Yep.
Oh shit.
Movie.
Flight
of the Navigator.
Think about that for a sport moment.
Flight Navigator. Also, too, this is pre-Google Translate, but also oh shit, what was I gonna say? I totally forgot. Anyways, go ahead.
So we've got this scene where the monk and everybody are fighting. They're all kung fu fighting, not really, but so Jade lets out all the monks from the machines. And our nameless monk here, he fights Strucker alongside Carr, eventually sending him plummeting off the roof. So we think he's dead. Then the three unite. Yeah. The three reunite in the museum, and all the tattoos are transferred onto Carr. And as he has fulfilled the third prophecy, then Strucker reappears and attempts to kill the three. And we think that Jade has been killed because she got shot. But he ends up getting killed himself by a falling statue.
Okay, so I guess that kind of pisses me off. How does not falling off the top of a building kill you, but then a statue crushing you does? What?
It's this thing called movie logic.
Yeah, movie magic. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Carr finds out that Jade is still alive after she basically caught the bullet in her hand.
Bullet catchers.
And she also fulfilled the three prophecies herself.
The third.
So that the scroll's powers are transferred to both of them. So half of the scroll is on Carr, the other half is on Jade, and the monk.
So two white.
Picture where the guy's about to shoot
now is aging.
She's like,
then he meets the next day with Jade and Carr, and he gives them each one half of the final verse, deeming them inseparable. So basically, now neither one of them can die, or the whole thing is.
They can't tell. Okay, can I? I'm dying to say this. Can I do the thing of the hot dogs?
Yeah. So before this, we have a great scene. What happens?
Okay, well, it's after this actually.
What I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, so earlier in the movie, the monk, no-name monk,
nobody wants to get
gives Carr a riddle saying why do they have hot dogs in the package of 10 and hot dog buns in the package of 8? There's actually a really simple reason for this, mind you. I looked it up, but he's like, oh, it's 2003. The internet wasn't as it is now, so you couldn't just look shit up. But you could, but you had to go to a cafe bar, etc. You couldn't just look at your phone. So I looked it up. It's dumb reason. Very simple. But he's at first he's like, oh, well, because blah, 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 some fancy reason he tried to come up with. And he's like, nope, nice try. But he finally got it. He got it. It's just the best movie line of all time. It's so great. It's got that Seann William Scott smirk. You could almost look like he hates the fact that he has to say this line. You can see it on his face. He's like, I figured it out. He can't even take it seriously. He's like, the guy forgot. He's like, why, I got it saved already in my fucking picture. Hold on. Where's the picture? Oh, hold on. I'm gonna send it to my okay. Don't worry. I'm gonna wing it. Hold on. Shit.
Take the picture of.
Okay, good. I'm just gonna wing it. So he's like, why hot dogs come in packages of 10, hot dog buns come in packages of 8? It's because you see, life doesn't always go according to plan. So you should be happy with what you got. Because you can always get a hot dog. He's like, you got it. I'm like, oh my god, really? Both of you guys embarrass me at this point. I get that you're making money and shit, but man, it would be really hard for me to say that line, even if I was getting paid $1 million. Actually, you know what? I would say the line if I was getting paid $1 million. But
so what is the real logical reason that you looked up that they come in those sizes?
No, with the buns, they go by pounds. Poundage, and so that's why it's $8. Because we added 10 or 9 or whatever, the poundage would change, I guess, and so that's why I bought that. There's no conspiracy, because I know people have always made up ooh, that's not an uncommon. I think
they did it just so there could be that scene in Father of the Bride where Steve Martin goes crazy in the grocery store and just steals more buns or steals less the amount of buns he needs out of the package, and then.
Exactly. I was just thinking of that as well. That's where that came from originally. I think.
Yeah.
And so it's stupid, but God, that ending though, when he says that, I'm like, this has to be one of the worst lines in a movie.
They point out because
even a weirder line after that. The pair wish him a good vacation from his duties before departing to fulfill their new roles.
He's gonna get shot and killed like the other
martial arts films.
It's a great wish, asshole. This guy gives you everything.
So that was the movie.
That's it. That's the show.
Here before we wrap things up.
No, but just to go with the white savior bullshit thing again. Same thing happened in Karate Kid. Fucking Daniel, Mr. Miyagi gives Carr for his birthday, a free car for his fucking birthday.
Mm-hmm.
He lets him stay with them, lets him live with them when his mom goes off to take care of her uncle or some shit. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And then mad at Mr. Miyagi for one thing that he won't want him to do, which is to go fight to train to fight in another tournament. And it's like, dude, this guy gave you a free car, a nice old ass classic car that he's been souping up for years. He let you give you free lodging, free food, and you're like, fuck you, Mr. Miyagi, you piece of shit. You won't train me for another tournament 6 months after I already won the last one or some shit. I don't remember the timeline for this movie. And there you go, another white guy who thinks he's entitled to like Asian.
Maybe we'll cover that in the future.
I would love to record the Karate Kid 3.
Okay.
So
Terry Silver film.
The ones that I had to balk at a little bit. By the way,
anyways,
folks,
folks,
I
don't have anything else to say about the movie.
I'm good too.
So, folks, just remember to go check out our website, all2ReelToo.com. You can make sure you subscribe to the show.
And just like,
tell your friends to do that as well. Like our episodes, comment on them anywhere you can. Do one of those type of things. Rate us, give us a 5-star review, give us money at our Patreon.
Money, give us money. Sorry.
Yeah, give me money. I want monies. Anyway, so do that. Check out our TeePublic. We got some cool shirts, including our orange Julius Caesar shirt that we recently released. That I thoroughly enjoy, and I think everybody should own one. I need one.
I'm gonna buy one once I can. It's hilarious.
And just know that I love you. Sesame loves you. You can do whatever you want with hot dogs. I don't give a shit. And
anyway, so
free Palestine.
Yes.
It's okay.
No human is illegal. Trans lives are human lives. Fuck the patriarchy.
For Ukraine. Yeah.
Fuck fascism. And until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All2ReelToo podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.